Welcome to Just Breathe, a practice for giving all of our attention to the breath. Now, today's practice is going to be basically an invitation to tickle the edge of your sensation and see if you can grow your willingness to be in that effort. So we're going to start with our traditional grounding, check in the posture, welcome the breath. Then we're going to practice an even breath, even in, even out. Taking at least 10 rounds of that even in, even out, something like a 4 count. The pace is what matters. Maintain that steady pace, that metronome, so that the inhale is as long as the exhale. Then we're going to explore growing that pace. Not growing the pace, growing the length of that pause. So from, say, 3 to 4 to 5. But before we extend, we're going to come back and get awkward on the other end. So we'll find our steady. In other words, get familiar with what feels comfortable and easeful and balanced. Then we're going to control the breath by coming back to an inhale and an exhale of 1 count, 1 count for about 5 to 10 breaths until you feel like you've noticed what you want to notice here, what's available here. Then 2 to 2 and 3 to 3 and 4 to 4 and 5 to 5 and 6 to 6. And on, as long as you can maintain that pace of breathing, of matching the inhalation with the length of the exhalation. Now, at some point, starting from that 1 in, 1 out count, you're going to get back to your home base where you thought felt natural. Great, notice it and keep going. Once you get to the edge, meaning I can't fill up anymore, I'm at 8, I've got my belly, I've got my ribs, I've got my chest, there's no more room, then practice that fullness, that count for at least 10 breaths. Then we'll wrap it all up by coming back to the steadiest breath. May or may not be the same breath count that you started with. Now, I'm going to be right here with you, guiding you through all of that every step of the way. But now that you know where we're going, feel free to adjust your practice accordingly. All right. So first things first, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Find your sits, tall spine, or a supported shape that allows you to welcome the ease of the mind and the body so that you can direct all of your attention to your breath. That is the purpose of just breathe. Feel the sensation as it comes in at the tip of the nose, travels perhaps up the nasal passages to the back of the throat, maybe even feeling that as it travels down and into the lungs. From your lungs, can you feel the belly open to receive deep into the bottom wells of the lungs? Do your ribs broaden? Do your chest rise? Maybe you feel some movement in your shoulder blades. And if your day so far has been hectic, maybe you want to let out a sighing exhale. Get rid of what is not needed. No reason to hold on. We are here for practice of just breathing. Everything else will still be there when we finish. This is what you need, stay here. If you're ready, meaning you have the capacity today to pay attention to controlling your breath without triggering anxiety, panic, fear, or any other unevenness, meaning, let's say you're fighting a cold. We don't need to trigger a cough attack, okay? So in your capacity, start to notice how the breath feels, inviting in an evenness of the inhale and the exhale. Ideally, through the nose. Inhale and exhale. Keeping a steady metronome of your own personal count. Notice, how long is the inhale? How long is the exhale? If they are already even, congratulations. This might be a little easier for you to transition into. If they are not even, See if you can comfortably find an evenness. So if the exhale is longer, can you extend the inhale a little bit to match it? If the inhale is longer, can you extend the exhale to match it? And let's take 10 rounds. You can use your fingers, right? And just give a little press onto your body to help you maintain that count so that all of your mental attention can go into feeling what the body experiences as you guide this breath. So at this point, finding a steadiness is not a tickling of the edge. It's a remembering of where you want to live most comfortably based on the capacity that you arrived with today, which will change, perhaps even within this short practice. But when that is clear, when you've taken about 10 breaths or long enough that you know the pace and the count that you can sustain comfortably, both in and out, then we'll shift. And we'll begin again this same evenness, inhale to exhale. 5 to 10 breaths, each layering expansion, starting with a single count. Same pace. So it's an in and an out. It's an in and an out. You might feel some tension, some anxiety, some panic, some pressure. When you're ready, 2 count. In for 2, out for 2. In for 2, out for 2. Your pace. Don't feel like you have to accommodate my suggested pace. Come back to your pace. Trust your breath, your greatest teacher. Completely full, completely empty, and just 2 counts. Do you feel more pumping in the belly? Do you feel any expansion in the ribs? Maybe it's starting to elevate into your chest. Bring it down as you can. Move on to the count of 3. What are you noticing? Is it becoming easier, less threatening, more familiar, more encouraging, more affirming? Are you noticing small little micro shifts as you've allowed space and time to fill up with prana? Add another count. Take a few breaths, add another count on your own lead, eventually coming to your happy place and then going beyond, going to an edge that is going to be once again uncomfortable, perhaps unfamiliar, and yet completely safe because you are in control. You are choosing to control the breath, the relationship with prana. You find the longest duration, the biggest expansion, the greatest pacing. Repeat 3 to 5 times. Notice what is being tickled. Remind yourself that you're safe. You can let go of this control and come back to an easeful breath at any time. Choosing to be in the uncomfortable will build your capacity to tolerate the uncomfortable you cannot control. It'll build your capacity to notice when the body is giving you cues that perhaps your brain is tuning out because it's paying attention to something else. If there's still a capacity of attention, shift this into your box breath. Same pace. Linger in the pause as long as the inhalation and the exhalation, or maybe as long as you can. Take another few rounds. This is the last push to feel deep and strong sensation by the power of choosing to control the flow of prana. Notice what you feel. No need to understand or explain, just notice what you feel. And come back to the familiar. It may not be the same count, it may be a little more, maybe a little less. Come back to an easeful breath. Ground yourself in the familiarity of this ease. Allowing our breath to slide back into the autonomic nervous system to the point where we even relinquish the even control. Receive the breath as the gift that keeps on giving, requiring no work unless we choose to apply attention. Start to bring your attention back into the room. Opening your senses to the space around you. Let your hands come to rest at your heart if you are ready to close this practice. You are more than welcome to stay here in a meditative state if you have the time. May you breathe deeply. Move freely. Labor lovingly, so that you may live vibrantly and intimately with prana, our friend and our source of life. Namaste. Simple and yet not easy practice, right? It takes a little time to get that calmness and then to be able to tickle the edge. So any thoughts, comments, or observations?
Oh, I needed that so badly.
That's the best. I needed that.
Oh my God.
You've had a heck of a one, haven't you?
Yeah.
How about you guys? You're on mute. I'm sure you're saying something wise and profound.
Am I not on mute now?
Now you're good.
Yay! It was a very different way of doing breath work, and it was very calming.
Good,
Important to have in these times we're living in.
good. Did you feel any agitation when you were at the end?
A little bit, but not much.
Good, good. I get a lot when I'm doing that one breath, but I just have to remind myself I'm choosing to do this because that's what's happening in my body when I trigger anxiety and fear is that I get short breaths, really shallow, and they're all up here. And so when we do those short breaths, like Kapalabhati or like Bhastrika or like this regimented breath, it can actually stimulate those neurological connections that says you need to flee. So getting familiar with it in a safe, grounded place, I remind myself so that then I can move back towards a controlled, easy breath, even if I can't move away from said danger.
Yep.
Great. Thanks, Faith. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you soon.